Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine. You're listening to a new The Changemaking podcast with Chloé Messdaghi. Each episode will introduce an area of technology that needs work and highlight the changemakers working on it. Join Chloé and guests as they tap into their passion about equity and rights for all. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ITSP Magazine's The Changemaking Podcast. I'm your host, Chloé Messdaghi, and with me today, I have Eric Belardo, who's the founder of Raíces Cyber Org, and Yvonne Rivera, who is the Deputy Executive Director at Raíces Cyber Org. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Welcome. Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have both of you, to be honest. So let's talk about your organization. Eric, since you are the founder of it, let's start with you. Share a little bit about what was the reason of trying to create this organization and get started. What was that path? And what were some of the things that came forward when you were going through it?
Yes, certainly. Well, again, thank you for having us here in the podcast. So we founded Raíces Cyber about a year ago, August of 2021, and it was a result of some of our members coming back from DEF CON and saying, you know what, we saw very few Hispanics within the organization and within DEF CON, and they didn't see any representation for Hispanic, Latinos, Latinas, and Latinx in that community. And once I came back, it triggered something in me saying, look, I've been in the industry for 32 years now. And for many, many years, there's been nobody that looks like me in the field. And right after we started, there was a Aspen Digital report that came out that said only 4% of people in the field of cyber self-identify as Hispanic, Latino, Latinas, or Latinx. So it really gave us that onus to go and create and build this organization. We started the organization. We now have over 1,000 members across the United States and some international. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey.
Wow. It's one of those things when you think about that statistic, 4%, they identify as, being Hispanic or Latino. It's a terrible thing to hear.
It is.
It's one of those things when you feel like you're the only one in the room with your background and your identity, it's incredibly hard to feel included and feel like they belong. And I mean, having such an organization like the one that you started gives people who are that 4% to know that there's a place for them to connect, network, and also to invite others to come and join to change that number.
Yeah, definitely. And for Yvonne, the numbers aren't out of how many Latinas are in the field of cyber. But if the total number is 4%, I can't imagine the amount for women in cyber.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the reason why many of us tend to leave. And Yvonne, how did you get connected with Eric and his mission?
So Eric and I apparently have many people in common, mostly because of our military our military affiliations. And I think where I really met him specifically and heard about Raíces Cyber was last year's US Cyber Games. He was there and he presented, and then, I looked up the organization and I mean, I didn't hesitate. I went in there and I filled out the form to request to do the volunteering. I thought it was really cool that there was an organization that was specific to Hispanics in cybersecurity. and kind of to piggyback off what Eric said, yeah, there, I mean, most of the time when I go into a room and I'm in a meeting, or, you know, when I work at a facility, at a site, there's a very good chance that I am absolutely probably the only woman engineer. And a very good chance that there are probably a handful, if not less, Hispanics there. So yeah, just to be in even in like the Raíces Cyber Discord channel, where it is literally filled with like-minded cybersecurity engineers and stuff, you know, where we all have all these Hispanic cultural things to share with one another, and it's actually really nice. It's a great community, and we all have a lot in common, so it's nice to be there. It's nice to have that place.
That's a wonderful thing to hear. I mean, honestly, when we don't have groups where we feel that, you know, some sort of representation, it makes us leave always at the end of the day. If we feel isolated and alone, it's not easy. And it's one of those things where you feel like there's no future if you don't see representation ahead, you know, in those roles that you want to have later on in your career. So this is a question for both of you. What have you seen so far since the organization has started?
Well, one of the things that, you know, I always say almost every time is that I hear almost every day, I didn't know that there was an organization like yours. I didn't know that Raíces Cyber existed. So over the year, we've been trying to put out the message out there that, yes, there is an organization for Hispanics, Latinos, Latinas, and Latinx out here in the field of cyber. There's a lot of organizations for Hispanics in tech, but none that were focused on cyber. And the other thing that's been wonderful is all the diversity and inclusion nonprofits getting together and working with each other. And I'm going to do some shout outs here to some of the organizations like Women in Cyber, Women's Cyber Jitsu, Black Girls Hack, Blacks in Code. Some of these other organizations are Blacks in Cyber, Cyversity. A lot of these organizations are pooling their resources together and working. So sometimes there could be other areas like that you wouldn't think Afro Latinos that are completely misrepresented. They feel like they can't fit in one or the other. Well, you know, we're working together to give them an inclusive space. And, you know, we're seeing that as we're growing and as these organizations are working together, we're reaching other people that didn't feel that they had representation in the field.
I think one of those things, it just brings back memories a little bit. So I grew up in Oakland, and I've done some work in some of the schools in the area. And I always found like there were STEM programs for like the students that were in a better neighborhoods and, you know, more white students per se. And when you go into like Latino areas, there was no STEM programs.
Correct.
And it's one of those things, like if you don't have STEM programs at an early age, how are they going to know about this industry? And especially cybersecurity. I don't even think many of us were even heard about it when we were in high school or middle school as an option.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're doing is trying to get into these high schools early on. We have some programs that we're looking to start here in this next new year or new school year to bring the message of cybersecurity into those schools that may not have that representation, and also teach the teachers. Teach the folks that are saying these are the career fields that you can be in. Because if you don't even get told that that career field exists, how are you going to want to be there?
Exactly. And I mean, I know that you're doing so much with this organization. How can people get involved?
So I think one of the first things that I would tell, the listeners is to go to the Raíces Cyber website and, check it out, go to all the links. But one of the most important places is the volunteer sign-up sheet. What we're doing is what I find important is what we're doing with that information is we're using it to help us, hold events and bring cybersecurity to our local chapters. So this will allow, for example, kids in the Central Florida area to have access to cybersecurity type either education or, some quick classes here and there. We're trying to get embedded into local like trade shows so that we could have a table set up. Things like that, so that we can kind of show people that we exist, gain members, gain sponsors, and so we could start going to the schools and bringing in cybersecurity at a younger age, so that when they grow up, they have the option of being a cybersecurity practitioner. They know what it is. They've had hands-on with it, and maybe it'll be their future. And the ultimate goal is to kind of change the balance, to add more Hispanics into the cybersecurity domain, bring up that percentage.
Yeah, and understanding that it's not about the numbers of people coming into the field. It's about bringing diversity of thought into the field of cyber, because everybody thinks a little bit different. And this is going to help bring and support the national security of the United States and all the different countries by having different people identify things in the field, in the technology, bringing in more diverse thought into the field. If we all think the same, we're just going to look at the same problems the same way.
I always use the reference of bug bounty, and how bug bounty became so successful was because it brought people from all around the world to help look for bugs that your team couldn't find, because your team, usually you hire people that match your team. So when you are looking for bugs, those folks are not going to catch all the bugs because they have similar backgrounds usually. And versus when you open the door for anyone around the world to look through, that diversity and the way of processing information, looking for things through a different lens, it also protects us too and secures us more. What are some of the things?
I'm sorry. I was going to say something really quick.
Go for it.
What else I noticed about the Raíces Cyber is that, it brings together a lot of Hispanics that aren't in cybersecurity. And now they're just like, oh, this seems like a really awesome, track to follow. And now they're, older, 30s, 40s, and they're like, I'm going to give this cybersecurity thing a try. And now they're reaching out to, to the community and saying, how do I get started? Where do I go? And now they're shifting their whole lifestyle is going from their current jobs to cybersecurity, so I think it's really cool to see.
Just hearing what you guys are doing and hearing the situation and everything, I knew the statistics were probably really bad of a lack of representation for the Hispanic and Latino communities. But I am also very floored to hear that it's only 4%. And I'm trying to figure out, how can I help as a person, and also as someone who can, have a company spearhead that and influence them to participate in activities in the future, or if it means donating, what are some ways that someone like myself can give back or to help your mission?
Well, we have various ways that you can help. Number one is, of course, provide, financial support. If you go to the website, we have a donate button right there on the website, raicescyber.org. We're looking also for companies to help sponsor the mission and support us. And, companies get a lot by sponsoring these employee resource groups or charities or support activities like us, nonprofits, because we're training people we're training the like I said, the next generation of cyber defenders. So these are the people that they can come and hire and train and mold and bring into these organizations. So we offer, for those companies to come and look at the, 5, 6, 700 people that we have in our Discord, to bring in and hire people that have this passion for the field. So support, volunteer. We say, it's Latinos, Latinas, Latinx, Hispanics, and our allies. So we have people of all walks of life. We have people that are just coming into the field, and we have people that have been CISOs for 10 years in our organization. So come, donate your time, do a talk. We have a Summer of Cyber education program going right now, that every Saturday, one of our leaders or even one of the people that are starting in their careers comes and gives a talk, be it a soft skills, be it a technical skill. We just had Philip Wiley this week doing an intro to pen testing. So we have various topics and various study groups and things that people can help with their time and donation, as well as we have just opened 10 different city chapters across the United States, from California to Washington, D.C. So donate your time by being there, supporting both financially and with your skills to bring that message to the next generation.
So my next question for y'all is, will you be attending DEF CON or Black Hat this year?
Ooh, yes. So let me tell you, next week here, the 22nd, we have our very first Capture the Flag CTF for Raíces. So this is going to be incredible. We're bringing in a lot of people. Not only is it going to be a CTF, but it's a learning experience, because we're going to have people who have done these on the Discord to help you through the challenges. Not only that, but the people that win this, and if we raise enough funds through this CTF, we're going to invite people to come and compete for us at the Global Cyber Games charity battle at the Luxor right between DEF CON and Black Hat. And so that's going to be a big thing. And we're going to be fielding a team. Raíces is going to have a team. And then we are going to be participants we're going to have a table for the first time ever in the Black Girls Hack Village at the Flamingo for DEF CON. So it's going to be really exciting for the next couple of weeks for us. And then right after that, we have our 1-year celebration. So lots of good things coming up for us.
That is all very exciting, and I will definitely see you there for sure. Is there anything that you would like for people to know about your organization and why they should participate in your mission to make sure that it becomes a reality?
I think one of the most important things is let us, help us to change that statistic. Help us grow our community, be part of our community, bring in your experiences and your knowledge into our community, and allow us to also be diverse internally. Help us grow by sponsoring us. Help us send 5 people to, Black Hat so that we can earn money to, turn it into something for our communities, to go out to our chapters and get these kids into cybersecurity. To me, I'm very excited to see that part happen. That's what I think. So,
and the money that we've got gathered already has been put into. Next week, we have a very interesting activity in Arizona with the Arizona Cyber Group that we're going to be bringing kids to the Arizona Cyber Range, teaching them about security, doing an intro security, and they're going to have maker spaces and all that stuff. So we're already giving to the community and teaching and bringing people up. So it's going to be really exciting, and I can't wait for this next second year of Raíces and how we're going to grow.
My next question for y'all is, do you ever get any people that are joining that, they had a previous career in something completely different, but are looking into getting into cybersecurity and they don't know where to start?
Every single day.
Well, that's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We just have to work on doing better to keep them here longer and making them feel welcomed.
Yeah. And one of the things that has happened is that some people have felt like they didn't know where to go. And when they joined our community, and we hear this a lot, and you see it, people saying all the time is, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know that cybersecurity was so expansive. I always tell people, cybersecurity is not a job. It's a career field. It's, there's 50 different jobs or job trades in there. So, teach them about the different things, the red team, the blue team, the GRC, the social engineering, all the different areas of there. And when you tell them all this stuff, their eyes open, their passion starts to build. And we support these people. Like Yvonne said, 30 sums, 40 sums that are sitting there and saying, oh, I want to change my career. We have somebody that came from, he was in food service and now has his first job in cybersecurity. We have somebody else in our group that was a mechanic and now is a SOC analyst. So we've got people that come from different fields that come and get the bug for cybersecurity, and they just love it. And we support them and we give them training and we point them to the right direction, and they do it all by themselves. That
is what it should be like for every single person. No matter what their background is, they should be able to join. I mean, I love hearing these type of stories because I remember about 5 years ago when I joined, I wasn't really hearing too many stories like that, where, people that didn't have a technical background or a job previously, they weren't able to join. But now there are opportunities, there are stories like the ones you shared where they have opportunities to come and join and be able to excel in this industry. And it's wonderful and welcoming to hear. And yes, I definitely have goosebumps. I just want to say thank you all for being on here with me today and sharing about Raíces. It's such a pleasure to have you on, Yvonne and Eric, and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. And if there's ever anything that, the community can do, feel free to let us know. That's what makes this such a great InfoSec community, because we share these things with each other. We share resources and we want people to succeed no matter what.
Thank you. And if you can put the message for the CTF, it is the 22nd through the 24th of July. And it's going to be a great activity. It's going to be a great weekend. So we can't wait to have you guys on there. If you can't participate, please help donate and help our cause. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you very much for having us.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Changemaking Podcast with Chloé Messdaghi. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.